Hello and welcome along to your yoga practice today. My name is Shad and I'm going to be taking you through a grounded warrior flow. So my intention with sequencing this class was that I wanted to create space and really just time to spend grounding into your body, which sounds really simple, but not often do we take the time to really do that and lean into creating space internally. So instead of seeking for these external maybe postures or moments, we are going to be really deep diving in and grounding into the bones, grounding into that internal space and your internal world. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you want to grab a block for a bit of a prop, but you also may not need it. Sometimes it's nice to have. We're going to start all the way back in child's pose, the most grounding posture, taking your two big toes to touch, knees out nice and wide, and have a little sway side to side in the hips. Let the hips just melt down on the heels. When you're ready, walk the hands out nice and long, firming into the fingertips, pressing the forehead down onto your mat. Closing down the eyes and just begin with the breath from here, noticing how you're feeling today. Noticing if maybe you need a little bit of grounding and setting your intention from here to ground into your own internal space today. Filling the belly on the inhale. Drawing the navel back to spine on the exhale, push into the hands, pull the hips back to the heels. Finding one more breath here. Lengthening through the arms, exhale, pulling the hips back, pushing through the hands at the same time. Head is heavy. Gently lift the gaze to look forward, coming all the way up. We're going to come into a kneeling position, so draw the knees together. Tuck your toes, all 10 toes, hopefully, behind you, and then begin to lean back. So we're wanting to have all 10 toes on the mat. Sometimes that is just not the case and it's not what's happening. So just move into the space that you have today. If it's really uncomfortable for you to be sitting upright here, then you can work down on your hands or maybe even on your forearms. Really pushing the hips back to melt onto the heels. But if you're quite comfortable, we're going to stay with this kind of kneeling position here. Adjust the toes if you need to. Feel the backs of the feet begin to open. Interlace the fingers with the thumbs to touch. Close the eyes. Begin to notice the breath here. Never forcing. If anything feels uncomfortable or stressful, release, come down to your hands. Otherwise, just sitting with the posture, sit with the sensations that arise and tune into breath. Maybe closing the eyes, beginning to explore that internal space. Imagine the feet are opening like flowers blossoming behind you. If you have more space, draw the hands to the heart center. We're going to stretch the arms up into a prayer, reach into the sky, peel the body out, the hands out, and then take a hold of your elbows behind you. If you have more space here, so you might stay with this. Again, if there's more room, taking a reverse prayer. Draw your pinky fingers to touch. Slide the palms up towards the back of the neck. Roll the shoulders back and pull the elbows back towards the back of the mat. Close the eyes. Tune into breath. Allow the heart space to open, a gentle tuck through the hips, pulling back, and the chin is back. And then closing back down, releasing everything back down onto the mat. Come forward, gently sink your hips back down onto the heels. Allow the feet, the ankles to just balance out after that. Grounding pose, grounding practice, of course, we're starting with the feet. So when you're ready, come through to tabletop. Knees hip width apart, spread the fingers wide. Drop the belly, inhale, cow. Exhale, back to cat. Just beginning to open through the spine, rinsing and getting that movement. Sinking with the breath, exhale. A few more rounds here. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, tuck through the tailbone, pull the back of the heart to the sky. One more here. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, pulling back. And then finding yourself back into a tabletop position. Walk the hands out long in front of you in preparation for puppy pose. Pull the hips back, either taking your chin to the floor, maybe the forehead if that's not quite available. Stretch the fingertips forward and pull the shoulders back towards the hips. At the same time, lean the chest down to earth, grounding into your heart space. Gaze is either straight ahead or maybe the forehead's on the floor. Let the belly be soft. Inhaling to fill. Exhale, pull the pelvic floor back towards the hips. One more breath here. Pressing down firmly into the forearms, look forward, lifting yourself all the way back. Let's find downwards facing dog. Lift the hips up nice and high, Adho Mukha Vasana. Looking forward, check the hands are shoulder width apart, firmly pressing down into all 10 fingers. And just begin to pedal out the hips here, the heels. Find a bit of softness through the backs of the hamstrings. If you have tight hamstrings, then you may feel a little bit more like this. So I want you to bend your knees, draw the chest towards the thighs, tuck the chin, look towards your knees. Press into hands, find a deep breath in. Long breath out, close the eyes. 3 breaths here. Internal space. 2. 1 more, inhaling. Exhale, hips high. Shift the gaze to look forward, come onto tippy toes and walk your feet gently to the top of the mat. Find a ragdoll position with the feet hip width apart. Inhale, lift the chin, the chest. Exhale, bow, take a hold of opposite elbows, bend the knees, release lower back. Sway the pelvis gently side to side. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Drop the hands to the floor, unravel all the way up to standing, stretch the arms up to the sky, look to the thumbs. Inhale, exhale, hands can come to heart center. Draw your 2 big toes to touch underneath you. Samastitihi, close the eyes, and here we ground. Such a simple yet powerful posture. Notice all 4 corners of your feet. Tuck through the tailbone, roll the chest back. 3 breaths here, fully in, fully out, fully in, fully out. Notice the space. Notice if there's any resistance, stillness. Enter that space with yourself. Last breath. Dropping the hands to either side. Inhale, lift the gaze, look up. Forward fold, exhale, bow the body. Let's move through 3 sun salutations. Warm the body. Inhale, look forward. 2 hands to earth, step back, high plank. Nice easy step. Your choice to drop to the knees or just come straight to chaturanga. Take an upwards facing dog, push the floor away, lift the chest. Downwards facing dog, rolling over the toes at the back. Heels up nice and high. Heels up nice and high, hips up nice and high. Breathing here. But maybe your heels are high if you do have a little bend in the knees. If you've got tight hamstrings, that's also fine. Deep breath in. As you exhale, look forward. Option to step or jump to the top of the mat. Big toes to touch this time. Halfway lift the chin. Exhale, bow the body, pull pelvic floor in. Inhale, rise, stretch the arms up to the sky, look to thumbs. Exhale, hands to heart center. Begin again. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, bow the body forward. Halfway lift, inhale. 2 hands to earth, choice of stepping or jumping. High to low plank. Take upwards facing dog, push the floor away. Downwards facing dog, lift the hips. Feet are hip width apart. Begin to start to feel this energy flowing through the body. 2 more breaths here. Rooting down into the pointing finger, the thumb, the pinky finger. 1 more deep breath in. Look forward, jumping the feet. Halfway lift. Exhale to bow. Inhale to rise, stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last time through, inhale, stretch up. Forward fold, exhale, bow the body. Halfway lift. Option to step or jump. Exhale to come down. Upwards facing push. Downwards facing dog. Raising your right leg up to the sky, inhale. 3-legged dog. Maybe close the eyes here, see if you can investigate what's going on through your left hamstring, your left hip. Lift the right leg a little higher, squeeze the glute. Keep both elbows straight. Stabilize here, look for stability. Create stability. Looking forward, step through. All the way, take your time. Crescent lunge, lift up through the arms. And just take a breath here. Notice if you're in a rush to get to the next pose, can you just be here, lift up from the hips, the waist, maybe taking the gaze up to the ceiling. High on the back toes, bring the palms to touch if you have space. 1 more breath. Peel open, warrior 2. Nice deep breath in. Sink a little deeper. Make sure your heels are in a line here. Good. Feeling that space across the chest. Looking forward. Sink a little deeper. Flip the front palm, reverse your warrior lift. Gaze is up. Let's come to extended side angle. Option for elbow to knee, or maybe you would like to take your fingers to the inside of the big toe. Stretch the left arm long to the front. Maybe close the eyes down. Start to feel into what's going on within the body. So instead of looking for these kind of external moments of the posture, investigate the space that is going on within the body. Binding, top arm is going to wrap back. Gaze is up. Option for full bind. Maybe you're working with the elbow on the knee, and that's fine too. Stay strong. If you're working into a full bind, go ahead. Remember not to forward fold. Keep the chest to the ceiling. Don't force it. Let yourself be where you're up to today. We're going to come into Skandasana, so straightening out through this right leg and finding yourself here in this left heel. If you have a tight left ankle heel, then you're going to be probably up on the ball of the foot, and that's absolutely fine. So maybe leaning forward, leaning back. Explore this space. Maybe close the eyes. Breathe. Breathe into the belly. Hands at heart center. If you need them on the floor for balance, by all means, go ahead. Take the left hand down, but peel the right arm up. Space. Gaze is up to the sky. Maybe wrapping for a half bind, wrapping for a full bind. Breath. Deep breath in. Full breath out, staying for exhale. Release the hands. Come all the way back to the front of the mat, like a ninja. Walk the right foot over, drop the back knee down, sink into the hips. And then option here. Let's really work into the pelvis. So you might be staying here on the hands, you might be coming down to those elbows. Don't be scared to press the right knee out wide. If you have more space, take a bind. So right arm wraps back. It's a bit of a twist through the thoracic spine. You might even be up on your hand working into that space. Wherever you are, be there 100%. Close your eyes, embody the posture. Embody the space that you have and create more of it through awareness. 1 more breath. When you're ready, release that back leg down. Let's come to a half split, everybody's favorite for hamstrings. Heel in line with the hip, take a deep breath in, look forward, lift the chest. Maybe give the pelvis a little sway side to side, and then exhale, bow your forehead down towards your right shin. Try to keep pulling that right hip back in space. If you're a little bit more here, that's fine. Tuck the chin, find a smile. Bowing if there's a little bit more space there. Gently lifting. Good, tuck the toes, and we're gonna make our way all the way back into down dog. So you're gonna lift that back knee, push into the hands, and meet back in a downwards facing dog. Pressing the floor away. And do the same thing on the other side. Left leg lifts up nice and tall to the sky, and just finding stillness in three-legged dog. Push the floor away, you're doing great. Lift that leg up a little higher. Investigate what's going on in the right hip and squeeze the left glute. Looking forward, lift high on the back toes, step through. Crescent lunge, lift the chest high on the back toes. Take your time, just finding your posture here. Nice full breath in, full breath out. Maybe you're looking up towards the ceiling. Connect the palms. If it feels like a struggle or stress, don't worry about it. Pull the shoulders away from the ears, lift from the torso, and then peel open for warrior two. Adjust the feet if you need to. Heels are in a line. Sinking deep into this left thigh here. Let's close the eyes down. What can you feel going on in the body? How can you soften? But how can you also add that element of strength and stability? Grounded warrior. Connecting with your feet into the floor. Flip the front palm, lift up, look up. And then finding extended side angles. Same thing on this side. So maybe left pinky finger, left fingers to the floor. Or maybe you're going left elbow to the knee. Your variation, your choice. We're looking for this line from the back leg all the way through to the fingertips. And then welcoming that bind. Half, full. Close the eyes, welcome the space. Welcome that investigation. Fully in, fully out. Full bind if that's in your practice. And releasing. When you're ready, making your way, little ninja, all the way to the back of the mat, Skandasana. Adjust the feet if you need to. Sink into the hips. Good. Close the eyes. Hands are either at heart center or you're on the floor working to support yourself. I'm facing the other way because I'm doing the other side. Find the breath. If you took binds on the right side, it's going to be the same thing. So you're looking up towards that top hand and wrapping around the outside of the knee with the right hand. Good. Breathing here. Welcome that internal space. One more breath. Good. Remember, where you want to come out of the posture, that's where the yoga starts. So we're going to come all the way back to the front. If you've had that moment already, that's good. Sink down into your left hip. Drop the right knee to earth. And then welcome a bit of rotation here. Press that knee out wide. Option to drop down to the elbows, maybe a block. Open through the chest, the hips. If you're binding, wrap your left arm back. Take a hold of that back foot. You're welcome to do it up on your hand, pushing the floor away. And that's a beautiful thing about yoga, is that it really is expressed differently on every single person, but it's the same practice. But you never do the same practice twice. Even if you do the same sequence twice, it's never the same. So just welcome whatever shows up for you on your mat today. No judgment, no attachment, just let it be what it is. When you're ready, releasing, let's find our way to half splits. So drawing the heel in line with your hip. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, bow, folding forward all the way, close the eyes. Maybe rinsing the neck out a little. And remember, if your half splits doesn't quite look like that, it's absolutely fine. So maybe you're just tucking the chin here. Hamstrings are commonly tight amongst a lot of people, so You're definitely not alone in that respect. When you're ready, looking forward, we're going to lean forward, tuck the toes behind you, set up for downwards facing dog, lifting back, really nice. Checking that your feet are hip width apart. Find 3 grounding breaths here, pressing into the hands, tilting and lifting the pelvis up. Each breath, draw your pelvic floor a little bit more in towards the hips. Notice the energy, the prana moving through your body and the stillness that you've created. Inhale, roll the body forward into high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Upwards facing dog. Downwards facing dog. Nice work. Let's bring the right knee to the right wrist for pigeon pose. Sinking down, draw your left leg long back behind you. Lifting up before you come down, really sink into the hips, try to square the hips. Maybe a block underneath the right hip if you would like, or in front of you. Use your breath to come down. If you'd like to stay looking forward, lean out through the chest, the heart space. If you want to come down and fully just soften, surrender, maybe you're feeling a little more, I don't know, relaxed today. Seeking into find where the tension might be in your body and welcoming space, welcoming release with each breath. Feel the hip melting down into the floor. One more breath here. Gently lift the chin. Let's come all the way back into downwards facing dog. Tuck the back toes, press the floor away. Other side, left knee to left wrist. The more parallel you have your shin, the deeper the stretch is going to be. One side's probably going to be different to the other. Welcome to being a human. Nice deep breath in, lift the chest, the chin. Exhale, lean forward, and maybe you don't go as far forward as the other side. Be curious, be mindful. Tune into breath and remember your intention, why you started this practice, to ground, to tune in and connect. Each breath, looking for a little more sense of connection to self. Letting go of expectations. Exhale, pulling belly button into spine. Lengthening through the spine. One more breath here. And releasing, look forward. Let's come all the way back into downwards facing dog. Lift the hips. Okay. Looking forward, step or jump. Make your way into a seated position, however you want to get there. And find the legs out long in front of you. Lifting up, inhale. Hands beside you. Tuck the chin, the chest, Dandasana. Allow your sit bones to really plug into your mat underneath you. Chin is to chest. Eyes are closed, or you might be just looking at the tip of your nose. Feel that deep breath. Maybe you can even feel your heart beating. A beautiful thing. Lifting the gaze, look forward, setting up for forward folds. You might like to bend your knees here, just depending on how much availability you have to come into forward fold. So tight hamstrings bend. If you can, take your feet, inhale, and then exhale to bow. Maybe you interlace the fingers around the back of the feet, or you might even bind with a wrist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull belly button back into spine. Draw the crown of the head towards the feet. Five deep breaths in. Exhale, pulling belly button back into spine. 2. Lengthen a little longer. Last one here. Fully in. Create space. Exhale, release. Coming all the way back up. Lifting, draw your knees together and then pull them apart. Take the heels together. Baddha Konasana. Inhale. Lift the chest, the chin. Open the heart space. Exhale, lean forward. Come as far forward as you can. If you really kind of struggle with this one, sitting on a block can be quite helpful just to elevate the hips slightly. So if you do have a block or something handy and you're feeling a little bit stuck, just put a block underneath the hips, lift up. Otherwise, leaning forward here, maybe give the hips a little sway side to side, pulse the knees a little bit, see if you can open through the hips. Rounding out through your back. Breathing here. You might even pull yourself forward with your hands, but root the tailbone back, all the way back. Gently releasing, coming all the way back up. Draw the knees to touch. Take your feet hip width distance apart. Setting up for a reverse tabletop. Slide the hands behind you. Press down firmly into the heels of your hands and then lift up, squeezing the glutes. Roll the shoulders together. Drop the chin back if you have space. 3 rounds of breath. Close the eyes. Squeeze and lift through the hips, the hamstrings. 1 more here. And releasing, come all the way back down. Nice work, sinking into the hips, setting up for a seated twist. I'm just going to turn to face you. So finding yourself with your legs crossed. If it's not super comfortable, sitting onto a block is good. Taking your right hand over to left knee. Inhale, lift up the spine. Exhale, rinse, look back behind you, all the way back. If you have space, take a bind. You can wrap your arm all the way around and work it in towards your inner thigh. Breathing here, rooting down to the tailbone and exhaling to look a little further over your shoulder. Inhale, straight spine. Exhale, twist. Release, come back. Other side. Inhale, lift up, lengthen, root down. Exhale, twist, rotation. Rinsing out and maybe adding the bind if it's there for you. Option to close the eyes or just look a little further over your shoulder, straight spine. See if you can pull up through bandha, through core, in towards your spine. 1 more breath here. Lengthening. Exhale to rinse and then coming all the way back. Good, you're going to take your hands onto your knees, close the eyes down. Palms facing up or down. It's really comfortable for you, however you want it to be. Finding 5 breaths here. Find a little smile on your face. Soften the shoulders. Notice the stillness that you have created that is always there and accessible to you. Behind the mind, behind the chatter. Deep within. Keeping your eyes closed, or if you need to, you can open them. We're going to make our way into laying down on the back, coming all the way down onto the floor. And just gently hug the knees and give yourself a nice big cuddle here, squeezing in towards your chest. Take a moment, feel your spine on the floor. Breathing in, sighing out, letting go of any tension that may still be there in the body. Inhaling, releasing. 1 more after this. In and out. Gently take a hold of the feet. Happy baby, happiest of babies. Knees nice and wide apart. Pull the shoulders down onto the mat. Pull the pelvis down. Try to get your spine flat on the floor. Find a full breath in. As you exhale, press tailbone to earth and pull the shoulder blades. Smiling, releasing your feet down onto the floor, all the way down onto your mat. Final and most important posture, Savasana. Allow your heels to drop out nice and wide. Your hands can come and rest down beside you. Adjust the placement of the head if you need to. Pull the shoulder blades in. Cleansing with the breath. Filling up your belly. Sighing it out. Savasana. And as you are resting here in your Savasana, just taking a moment, imagine that somebody is just placing a nice big blanket down on top of you, and as they do so, your body becomes heavier, pressing down into the face of the earth. Feeling a sense of connection, but also a sense of lightness and ease in the body, in the mind. Feeling safe and grounded in your body. Tuning in for these last final few breaths here. Maybe bringing that intention back. Knowing that you are enough and that your practice was perfect for you today. You have everything you need. Inviting a nice deep breath in, wriggle the fingers, the toes, stretch the arms out over your head, lengthening the body nice and long, and then drawing your knees all the way in towards your chest. Find a little hug here. Turn to your side or just make your way straight up into a seated position. Finding your legs crossed or lotus. Bring the hands to the thighs once again, the knees. Find your breath here with the eyes closed. 5 rounds of breath. Deep, full, loving, kind. 3 to go. 2. Last one, take the hands to the heart center. Sealing our practice with the sound of Om. Inhale. Om. The highest light in me honors the highest light in you. Thanks so much for joining for practice today. Namaste.